So I'm going to explain economics in 5 steps with the aid of the familiar figure of Robinson Crusoe, which most of you probably know. And whether it's banks or healthcare or Greece or China, I don't care. All these problems can be explained in 5 simple steps with the aid of Crusoe. So let's go to the first step, right? Now the first step is easy, just make smart choices. Now even Robinson Crusoe needs to make smart choices. But what is needed for him to make smart choices? Basically, he has to know 3 things. The first thing that he needs to know is what his goal in life is. Now, say that his goal in life is to escape from the island. Well, he better know that this is his goal, otherwise he will never be able to chase it. The second thing that he needs to know is what his talents are. Now, say that his talent is to make a canoe. Now, that's actually quite useful if your goal is to escape from the island, right? So the third step is whether he's able to match his goals with his talents. And if he can, well, he can actually build the canoe and escape. So that's fine. So smart choices is the first step. The second step is that this good teamwork is needed. Because what happens, he bumps into Friday. So it's not a deserted island after all. It's actually somebody's living there. And this somebody can be useful for Crusoe. And Crusoe, because he is alien to Friday, can actually be useful for the purposes that Friday has in life. But what makes this cooperation potentially successful? Well, again, 3 steps, and very similar to step 1. Not only do they need to know their own goals, but they need to know each other's goals. So I have to invest in each other to find out what's driving them. And they need to know what each other's talents are. And it's actually, for a cooperation, very useful if those talents are a bit different. And it's not that they both can make a canoe. No, it's Robinson making the canoe, and it's Friday perhaps chasing the food, and that actually can benefit both. And as a third step, again similar to step 1, they need to be able to match the goals and their talents, and then they can achieve actually something that will benefit both. So it's easy. Actually, it's only smart choices and good teamwork. So it's almost done. No, because in step 3, it turns out that good teamwork is not that easy. What can happen? Well, maybe their rationality is limited, so they don't know their own goals or each other's goals that well. Or their morality can be bounded. They can have weak willpower. Maybe they lack time, or they lack something else, information. So these things happen. I mean, real life is not perfect. Only in perfect world, smart choices and good teamwork come by themselves. But in real life, it's not that easy. And that's why they sometimes say, only Robinson Crusoe had everything done by Friday. Well, that's obviously not an example of good teamwork, right? Fortunately, in step 4, it turns out that we have solutions for these problems. Now, a first solution is hierarchy. So it actually can be quite beneficial if, for instance, Friday has a limited willpower, that there is actually somebody who can help him in hierarchical sense to achieve his own goals or to facilitate cooperation. So that's the first solution. A second solution is that there's a market solution. Well, even in the world of Crusoe and Friday, there could potentially be market incentives for them to escape. There could be, for instance, higher wealth or fame or whatever for both of them if they manage to escape. And maybe 100 years later or 200 years later, a film will be made. Well, okay. That's the second solution, is the market solution. The third solution is a moral solution. Or maybe they become so good friends, or they find out that they have a shared dream, that this in itself drives their good cooperation or their smart choices. So that's the 4th step. And the final step is that those 3 solutions should not be seen in isolation. You often have political discussions in which one politician claims that we should go to the market and the other politician claims we should go to the government. And often this is a little bit of a fake discussion, because if we look at real world, it turns out that you need all. You need both market, you need government, and you need moral. Because you see what happens when you isolate them. Hierarchy without moral is slavery. If Robinson Crusoe imposes his will by force on Friday, It will not lead to good cooperation. It will not lead to a win-win. It lead to bad economics. Equally, a market without moral turns out into greed. Well, we all know what happened if greed is the driving force of economics. And if there's a market without hierarchy, basically it means that there are no good rules what to do when there is dispute, and it just leads to chaos. So you need a balance between hierarchy, market, and morals. Summarizing. Smart choices. Okay, that's an easy one. Good teamwork. That's the second step. Third step, it turns out that they don't come by themselves. It's difficult to achieve. In the fourth step, we see that there are fortunately solutions. There's hierarchy, there's market, there's morals, and it makes life easier. And in the fifth step, it just shows that you need a balance between those three institutions. And I challenge you to come up with any economic problem. I don't care which one, which I cannot analyze, which those 5 steps.